Now to our ongoing Democracy 2010 coverage. There are less than 20 days until the state primaries, and we continue to introduce you to the candidates running for office. Today, Kelly Swoop sits down with one of the Republican candidates running for the state's 2nd Congressional District.
Joining me now is Troy Stouffer, Republican candidate for Congress in Maryland's 2nd District. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Tell me, what do you see as the single most important issue facing the nation and your district right now?
Well, for me, I see the single most important issue is the fact that we have elected officials that have completely neglected their duty to be good financial stewards of our money. You know, as regular citizens, we're expected to basically create a budget, pay our bills on time, and live within our means. Why should our government be any different? You know, we have elected officials that have the mentality of, well, let's just spend like there's no tomorrow. And if we run out of money, we'll just print more money. Well, it's our money, it's not their money. And I think it needs to stop. I think we need to create a balanced budget, forcing our government to live within our means, because it's our money, but also to pay down the outrageous debt that they've created, not just over the past 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, but over the last 30 years or 40 years.
Mm-hmm. So what will you do in office to affect the greatest change, improving the quality of life for your constituents?
Well, one of the things I see that needs to change is that our elected officials now, they don't seem to read the bills that they're voting on. So for me, I will not vote on any bill or any piece of legislation that I have not personally read, but also believe that it fits within the confines of the Constitution and what the Constitution defines as the proper role of the federal government. And we have a federal government that just, over the past 2 years, to choose 2 examples of, they have bailed out companies that they deem are too big to fail. Well, what gives them the right to decide who's too big to fail? What about me? What about my household budget? Am I too big to fail, or am I too little to fail? And I think it needs to stop of the government deciding who's going to win and who's going to lose, and let the Constitution rule.
Mm-hmm. What would you say are the major assets that you bring to the office?
I think my major assets, and you've probably heard this a lot over the past few weeks, is that I'm just a regular guy. I got fed up with listening to the politicians, the career politicians in D.C., that they created this huge mess of our economy and a huge mess of our country, but yet they're the same people that want to stand up before us and vow that send me back so I can fix the problem that I created. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that's right. I think we need to return some common sense to our government and restore our country back to the principles that our country was founded on.
So what would you say is the single most important message that you'd like to convey to the voters?
For me, the single most important message is don't let anybody tell you who to vote for. Whether or not it's my race, the governor's race, the county council, whatever. Don't let anybody tell you who to vote for. Go out, look at all the candidates, and decide for yourself who best meets your core values and principles. If that's me, then great, vote for me. If not, then fine, no hard feelings, but vote your core values and principles. And at the end of the day, that the chips fall where they may, but at the end of the day, you as a voter will know that you did your due diligence to make sure you made the right decision.
And lastly, what is the one thing that voters don't already know about you, but maybe they should?
Well, like I said, I am just a regular guy. But over the past few years, I wrote extensively over all the issues that have been affecting us throughout the nation. And through that time, I quickly realized that, you know what, I can't sit on the sidelines any longer. Yeah, it's fun to write about it, but you're not really, for me, it wasn't fulfilling. I wasn't doing anything to change anything. And it was time that I stood up and took action to turn our country around and change the direction we were headed in. And that's where we're headed now. We're looking forward through November, and as has probably become blatantly obvious, I'm not a career politician. I never have been and never will be, but I would love the honor and opportunity to serve the people of the 2nd Congressional District.
All right. Well, Troy Stouffer, Republican candidate for Congress in Maryland's 2nd District, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks a lot, Kelly.
Good luck
I appreciate
to you.
it. Thanks.